Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is video number 2, focusing on agenda setting in terms of the race, ethnicity and gender and sexuality in sport. In this broadcasting podcast, I'll be speaking about the ideology of agenda setting, focusing on news stories such as racial discrimination faced by England's Euro players in 2021 and the misinterpreted sexual conduct of Sergio against female lineswoman Messi Ellis. So listen in. Firstly, in this podcast we are focusing on agenda setting. What is that, you might ask? Well, let me explain. The capacity to affect the weight given to items on the public agenda is referred to as agenda setting. The study that outlines how media outlets strive to sway viewers and creates a hierarchy of news importance. For instance, in this podcast I'll be looking at Sky Sports specifically and the data sets with that. It has quality factors like the main article, positioning on a website, and even the volumes of interactions from social media platforms are important in addition to quantity. The Comms and Valencia describe it as what we think and how we think about it. So let's hear some examples. So firstly, we're focusing on football and specifically looking at the incident between Sergio Aguero and lineswoman Shaun Maisie Ellis. In the 91st minute of Manchester City's 1-0 victory over Arsenal, Sergio aired his resentment at lineswoman Maisie Ellis for failing to give him a throw-in. The official walked away from the scene when Sergio reached out and touched the base of her neck. Maisie Ellis then jerked away from this and shrugged it off. While the event was short-lived, social media exploded on the video, and it had 10,000 views, as we can see from the data sheets. The issue of gender, it featured in the news for over a week, and also from the data we can see it was tweeted about over 800 times. This event demonstrated news media's job as to have agenda setting by identifying important problems and subjects and then determining how prominent they are in today's society and how public they become on the public's radar as well. So what do you think? Was it an issue of gender, or was it just made to seem like one, and did the use of agenda setting correctly and effectively demonstrate this? So, agenda setting. This isn't about convincing us on their point of view, but unconsciously influencing our thoughts by choosing particular topics by Stoller. For example, over the month of September from October, 12% of news sports focused on women, some negatively, and only 4% of this news featured minority ethnicity or females. This also exemplified gender marking, since only women's events in the news were marked, such as the Women's World Cup or Women's Euros. Studies from the data sheets and included non-sports related aspects such as personality characteristics or family, which wouldn't have been asked from the men, or, in other sense, homosexual athletes, suggesting that sport is secondary to either their gender or their sexuality. Sport media may not only overtly be sexist and or racist, but it's also privileging people such as men. It disadvantages others, therefore existing expressed concepts. Aspects as well also include things like the national census. This details that 51% of the people in the UK are female and 86% white heritage. So if that's correct, then why don't we see in Sky Sports News and the data sheets 51% of stories being female, or at least something more than what it is at the moment, considering it's not at that level yet? So another example that we're looking at during this podcast are the race and ethnicity issues from the agenda setting. Following their loss of Euro 2020, Black England football players came under a flood of racist incidents and taunts, online abuse, which drew widespread criticism. While certain players have spoken for social issues, the England squad received recognitions for its stance against racism, such as campaigns like Kick It Out. The squad's multicultural position has been praised by portraying a more heterogeneous modern Britain. This example highlights agenda setting and backs up the data sheets from Sky Sports. By determining the agenda, the media informs the public of the most crucial problems and vital viewpoints. When this incident occurred, it had over 2,000 touchpoints and it's mainstream sports news for over 8 days. The agenda setting theory introduced by Maxwell and Shaw clearly demonstrates that issues are chosen and prioritised to an audience and what they believe is most important. So, to summarise, we've spoken about agenda setting, what it is, and given 2 examples as well. Some of the main points highlighted are sexism in sport, even with a 51% census that the population is female, and racism in football, highlighting theories such as gender marking as well. So, Before we finish off, in summary, the examples I've used in data sheets from Sky Sports in support of gender setting is commonly used in sport, and sport itself is used in topics to look at race and ethnicity, gender and sexuality, which also helps represent a gender setting. So that's it from me, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or opinions on a gender setting, sport and as a whole, don't forget to leave them in the comments below. Thanks!